Greetings. Aboru, aboye, aboshishe, ekuo joawo. Many blessings to you on this day of Ifa, on the day of mysteries, on the day of Yeye Oshun. I'm thinking about once upon a time when I started my business. Really, actually, a couple of years into my business, not when I first started. I first started, it was just action. The idea came to me, the opportunities were present, and I took it and I started, working, teaching. And then a couple of years into it, and I saw that this is really, workable. I'm going to do it. I didn't fully understand that I was in a business. Boya Boshisho, Ashunlayo, Enle. I hope all is well with you, yeah. And I didn't really fully understand what it meant to be in business, right? So what I would do is I would go online and I would grab like random things about business, maybe search engine optimization, SEO, or internet marketing, or marketing 101, branding information, graphics. I would just be pulling down random things that would show up, based on my Google searches, right? And it was cool. I could do certain things and I could see results. Things would happen as a result of me implementing different kinds of techniques in the world of business, right? But at the end of the day, it ended up being like the house of mysteries. You ever go to the fair or something like that, and they got the house of mysteries where you got stairwells that don't lead anywhere, you got doors that open up into brick walls, and you got like passages and corridors that just loop around endlessly. They never take you anywhere. My business was kind of like that. Things were all over the place, and it never really converged onto a particular defined practice. All right. And a lot of people nowadays approach Orisa lifestyle in that way. There's so much content out there, and people are just jumping from Facebook group to another Facebook group and buying books and watching YouTube videos, right? And because there's so much information, it's tempting for you to think that you're actually putting something together, okay? But you're not. I hate to break it to you, but you're not, okay? And the difficult thing is that you don't have anybody to sit beside you and say that, you know what I mean? The things that you're pulling together don't add up to one particular thing, right? That's not a recipe. If you were to think of it as a recipe for a dish, all the different things that you have there, yeah, those are the ingredients of different things, and you got things chopped up nicely and separated and in piles and stuff like that. You got water boiling, but it's not an actual dish. When you put all that together, you're going to come up with something that nobody wants to eat, including yourself. Okay. And so what I want to do is I want to walk you through a process whereby you can understand how to create an actual practice. Okay. Now, this is the School of Orisa Studies and the Orisa Lifestyle Academy, and I'm your instructor, Obafemi Origunwa. And today, what I want to do is I want to take you through some of the best ideas and best practices associated with how to create an ideal apprenticeship for your spiritual practice. All right. Now, one of the things that you got to understand is that it's a practice. You're developing a practice. Okay. Here's the big, gigantic, light at the end of the tunnel. What you're trying to craft is a practice. All right. And the practice consists of very specific things. All right. Now, before I was talking about business, right? Getting all this marketing information, but that was like advanced. That was a step ahead, pulling down marketing information. The first thing was getting my business and understanding what is my business, right? Is my business braiding hair, or is my business making clothes. Okay. I might be able to do both of them, and I'm trying to do them simultaneously, and I'm right, but really they're two separate businesses, and I need to treat them as completely different businesses. They have different approaches. They got different budgets. They have different, working environments. Like braiding hair and making clothes are two separate businesses. I need to decide which business is my primary business and what is core to that business. Likewise, in your spiritual practice, you need to understand what is in the actual practice. Okay. And that's not something that you just imagine. That's not something that you're going to just piece together by reading this book and that book and going on this Facebook group and that Facebook group. You rely upon having a master, a teacher, a guide, because they have years of practice. They understand what goes into the practice, and they can watch and observe you, and they can guide you through the process of establishing a practice that will really work for who you are and what you have accessible, right? Some aspects of the practice, you find people are super smart. They have a super retentive brain, and their practice is going to be, based on that. It's going to reflect that. Other people are highly spiritually, attuned. They got great intuition. They've got great second sight and clairaudience and all that kind. Their practice is going to be a little bit different. But no matter where you fall within the spectrum, there are some core elements that make up Orisha practice. Your master teacher, your guide will show you those things, they'll identify those things and walk you through the process of mastering yourself relative to those different aspects of the actual practice. That's a huge, huge, huge lesson right there. That's enormous. Okay. If you can grasp that, everything is going to shift. Okay. Everything is going to shift. You're not going to be trying to do everything on your own. All right. Because there are certain parts of this that, you can discover, but it's going to take you decades. It's going to cost you so much money, so much effort trying to figure out, why you have this looping corridor. If we go back to the analogy of the mystery house, someone has to explain to you it's not supposed to loop. It's supposed to go to specific places, right? So once you know what the practice consists of, then you can go about the business of learning the different disciplines associated with the practice. All right. Throughout that whole process, one of the keys is to value the learning and the development over money. When I say over money, what I mean is prioritizing your learning and your development over spending money, and prioritizing it over the idea of making money, right? Not that money becomes, we're not talking about this pie in the sky where like money doesn't matter and we're on a spiritual pursuit and it's about, the way the spirit speaks to you and the purity of your pursuit and your quest. And it's not about tainting it with money. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm talking about just how well you're going to be able to focus and setting priorities. Okay. The practice is your highest priority. If you focus on the practice, again, you will inadvertently and gradually start to master yourself relative to all the different aspects. If that's your focus, if you're thinking about how much money you're spending, or you're thinking about how much money you're going to earn from, when you're going to start making money, then you're going to compromise really precision. Right? You're gonna compromise all that in favor of doing things that will either save you money or what you believe will position you to make money. Right? And both of those things are counter productive to your development. Okay, and your ability to really pull in the understanding, to cultivate the understanding that is associated with, again, mastery, right? So again, All of this adds up to establishing a practice, and the practice is what will guide you along the way to mastery. And when you look at how the road of mastery is traveled, again, this is where your teacher, your guide comes in, because they're already at a certain level of mastery. Okay. And then from that perspective, they're able to see the areas in which you have, accumulated some mastery and where you need to work. Okay. The key that I'm trying to drive home here is that establishing a practice is something that you're not gonna do it on your own. Okay. It's not something that's going to just come to you through having a good attitude or having a good work ethic or trying really hard or being persistent or anything like that. It's going to come through somebody just walking you through certain things. Okay. Understanding the role of prayer, understanding the role of divination, understanding the role of the culture and the history. All of these things, they all, come together to help you establish an actual practice and master it. Okay. And so I really don't have much more deeper insight into the subject than that. Apprenticeship, mastery, and your practice all work together in creating a way that you can realize your destiny in this space and time. The absence of any one of those elements almost guarantees that you're going to go in circles, right? You're going to be practicing some variation of like a superstitious, hocus pocus, make believe kind of a thing, right? And in some instances, people are comfortable with that. They feel like that's okay, right? In some areas, and let me say it a different way, in some segments of our population, that is an acceptable standard. But what I can tell you based on my experience is that there are people who operate in that way for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. Okay. And what they do only makes sense to them. It's only useful to them. Okay. And useful in the sense that they're able to do things, whether those things yield results, whether those things are actually improving their lives, whether those things are actually facilitating self-mastery, right, is subject to debate. They're not able to make any measurable, quantifiable, reliable progress in self-mastery or in the way of really cultivating an actual practice. Okay. And how can your spiritual practice, how can your spiritual discipline be fulfilling if the only thing it does is feed your imagination? If the only thing it does is reassure you that your own, limitations are correct and are sufficient, right? That's not what your spiritual discipline is all about. Your spiritual discipline is intended to bring you into contact with a natural and inborn connection to the greatest reality, the ultimate reality, the infinite realm of possibilities. Okay. That's what your spiritual practice, that's at the highest level. That's what we're aspiring to, right? In our tradition, the realization of one's destiny is optimization of what Ordi has brought to you. And Ordi is your portion of Olodumare. This is like your piece of God consciousness, being able to resonate at a higher and higher level with your Ordi is enabling you to take on more and more and more degrees of Olodumare consciousness, right? That's not accidental. That's not going to happen willy-nilly. That's not going to happen from you just pulling down random things from Facebook groups and books and stuff like that. There is an actual practice. And we know that this is important because it starts with the beginning of the practice. This is the way we teach it in the School of Orisha Studies. And this is the way it was taught to me and everyone who I know. This is why you have an Ijuba. The Ijuba is like one of the first prayers that you learn. Your Ijuba is invoking all of the great masters who've come before you, all the way up through the deities, all the way up to Olodumare, because we recognize that the wisdom and the path that we're walking has been passed down from one generation to the next, one generation to the next. Nobody has just woke up one day and been, able to walk the path of destiny, right? We learn, and we learn from other people. We learn from people who are further along the way than us. We learn from people who have actually established a practice, and they know what the practice consists of because they've done it decade after decade. They've done it season after season, right? That's what makes them a master. These people have tried and failed. A master has failed more times than the novice has even attempted. This is how they know. And this is why they're capable of guiding you, right? From wherever you are to the place that, where you're capable of reaching. Okay. So keywords here are practice, mastery, and apprenticeship. Practice, mastery, and apprenticeship. Those three go together, right? And your ability to recognize that is what's going to allow you to streamline the process and stop beating around the bush. Okay. Like I said, I in my business, this wasn't how I took my spiritual walk. My spiritual walk is the way I'm describing it to you. I took a pretty straight and direct route, or I am taking, it's not like it's over. I am taking a straight and direct route. But in my business, I can very clearly remember when I started business and I didn't understand what it was to be in business. I didn't understand that if you're in business, really you're in branding. Anybody who has a business, your business really and truly is branding. And I don't mean logos and colors and fonts. That's not a brand. Okay. Your brand is everything you do. It's how you do what you do. Your brand is how what you do creates an experience for people, right? The experience that people have, that's your brand. Okay. It's not colors and pictures and stuff like that. That's very superficial aspect. Likewise, there's very superficial aspects of your spiritual practice. It can boil down to the stuff that you have. Like that's why I'm always going in beads and pots and titles. Those are the things that are on the very, very superficial. That's not your practice. Okay. That's not your practice. That's way down the line. And it's maybe you'll have those kinds of things. Okay. Likewise, in your business, you will maybe, like I said, you could be pulling together all kinds of different, marketing tricks, but those different tricks, SEO and having a funnel and having a blog and a YouTube channel, having all of those things, if they don't converge onto a single business, if they don't converge on what you actually do and you're committed to doing what that thing is, season after season after season after season, that this is core to your business. All of those things, they go nowhere. They're roads that never end. Okay. There are sentences that actually, that have no punchline. Okay. And you don't want your spiritual practice to be like that. You want your spiritual practice to add up to something very specific. And that is mastery. Okay. That's mastery. So all of those things go together. Mastery, apprenticeship, and your practice. All right. So in the School of Orisha Studies, what we do is we approach mastery of the practice from 6 distinct levels. Okay. We offer 6 levels of instruction. All right. That are intended to guide you through the practice, through acquiring the practice, through mastering the practice, and mastering yourself in relationship to that practice. Okay. It's a unique opportunity for people to really get straight and direct and simple and actionable directions on becoming a practitioner of Orisha lifestyle. So I invite you to explore the School of Orisha Studies and the Orisha Lifestyle Academy. You can visit obafemio.com and find links to the school. You can likewise visit orishalifestyle.com and they will take you into the School of Orisha Studies, where you're going to find, more detailed explanation of how the school is organized, what opportunities are there for you, and how you can get ready to start living the medicine that will heal your life and heal the lives of those who you're destined to serve. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comment section, and I'll be more than happy to get back with you as soon as possible. Either way, many blessings to you. May the blessings of Oromila be with you and yours now and forever. Bye for now. Odabo.